Feed Your Family Tonight podcast. Each week, we are serving up motivation and inspiration to help you get weeknight dinner on the table, letting you recapture a little calm in the crazy. And now, your host, speaker, author, and married mother of four, Mariefiebach.
Welcome to the Feed Your Family Tonight podcast, episode 105, Thanksgiving Basics. Today, we're going to talk about Thanksgiving dinner. For many of us, it's going to look a little bit different this year than it has in years past. Perhaps you will not be attending a large family gathering. You may even be cooking Thanksgiving dinner for just your family for the first time ever, or might be attending smaller gatherings with fewer people from your large extended family. No matter what your situation, I have tips and tricks to help you execute Thanksgiving dinner with as much ease as possible. Knowing that Thanksgiving is kind of a beast. It's the Super Bowl of cooking like none other, and I'm here to help you kind of navigate the game plan. We are about 3 weeks out from Thanksgiving, just under, as this episode airs. And now is the time to talk with your extended family. If you have not talked with your extended family and made expectations clear about who is going to be hosting, who is going to attend or not attend, now's the time to have those conversations. I know anytime you're dealing with family, sometimes things can be a little bit uncomfortable. But know that in this year of pandemic, everybody gets that things are just different. So now is your chance to create new traditions and find ways to still celebrate Thanksgiving, maybe a little bit differently than usual. If you are cooking for the very first time, I have a Thanksgiving 101 sheet, which just goes through the very basics of things that you need to know about cooking Thanksgiving dinner in the Feed Your Family Tonight Holiday Planning Guide. Today, I'm actually going to be talking straight from a lot of the pages of the Holiday Planning Guide. I have a countdown to Thanksgiving and all sorts of planning pages to help you do large gatherings. And while your gathering may be small for Thanksgiving, you're going to want to treat it like a large gathering because you're going to be doing things that are different than your everyday weekday meals. Usually Thanksgiving is when people are pulling out their serving platters. Sometimes you're pulling out your china and your crystal for the first time or only time in the year. And it's going to be a little bit different. So you're almost going to plan like it's for a large gathering, even if it is just your immediate family. So 2 weeks ahead, 3 weeks ahead, you need to make sure that you've got expectations clear with extended family, whether you're going to be attending with them or having your own celebration. Knowing where you're going and who you're doing it with is something that you really want to focus on in these weeks heading up to Thanksgiving. Once you kind of know how that's going, then you can start getting deeper into your Thanksgiving planning. The first thing you want to know is who's invited. Who am I cooking for? Who's going to be at the gathering? If you're having guests, are they going to bring anything? Are you going to ask them to bring something? What time are you going to host the gathering? Our family usually has Thanksgiving dinner at 2 p.m, which is kind of an odd time. I know a lot of people will have it at noon as the main meal of the day, and a lot of people will have it in the evening. I grew up always having it at 2 p.m. And it's kind of nice. You kind of sleep in a little bit, have a late breakfast, do your cooking, and then have Thanksgiving dinner at 2. And then by 5, 6 o'clock at night, you're kind of ready for snacks and leftovers, and all the guests have left, and you've got a little bit of quiet time to yourself. Back in the day when Black Friday sales started on Thanksgiving, that would even give me a little bit of time to do a little bit of shopping for Black Friday sales. This year, I've noticed that many retailers are choosing to close for Thanksgiving Day. And my father worked in retail for 35 years. And as the daughter of a father who worked in retail, it's so nice to know that these stores are closed and that their employees are going to be able to celebrate Thanksgiving with their families. So much of my life, we were adjusting our family traditions around my father's work schedule. And certainly when they started opening on Thanksgiving Day, that definitely affected our family. So I'm kind of excited for the retail workers this year that they have a day to celebrate just with their family and don't have to work on Thanksgiving Day. But what time are you going to eat? That's something that you want to know, because as you plan your food, you're going to decide when things are going into the oven. So it's important to know when you're going to eat. What kind of plates and cups and silverware are you going to use? Are you going to use your everyday ware? Are you going to pull out the china? Maybe you're going to say, we are going to use paper plates this year. All of them are totally great. You have to go with what your family loves and is used to. I happen to love my wedding china. I have 32 place settings in my wedding china. I didn't have that many until my mother last summer found a set of 12 places of my wedding china at an estate sale for like $35, and the stickers were still on it. Now that's a little bit telling, because I've been married for 20 years, which means someone had their wedding china probably for 20 years and never used it, and the stickers were still on it. If you're someone that has never used their china, maybe this year's the year to break it out and use it. Don't be afraid to use your nice things. So many times growing up, my mother would have things that we would save just for special. And it was nice because we would pull them out and use them for special. But then there were other things that you save for special and then you never choose to use that. And that would break my heart. I grew up using all of my mother's china and platters. And if you have china and you don't use it very frequently, this year of all years is the year to break it out. And if you run it through the dishwasher and one plate chips, does it matter? I don't know that it does if you're never using it anyway. Anyhow, that's my little soapbox about using your china. If you have it, think about using it this year, but also no shame in using paper plates, because heaven knows Thanksgiving has a lot of dishes. You want to talk about your, again, plates, cups, but also your serving platters. And I learned this technique from my sister-in-law. She would put sticky notes on her platters and bowls for what dishes she was going to put in each of those platters. And I thought that was just a really brilliant idea. And I have taken that idea and I use it in my home. So I know that my turkey is going to go on my large Wilton Armatel platter. And I know that my mashed potatoes are going to go into this one particular crystal bowl that I have. And I know that my casserole is going to be baked in one of my favorite casserole dishes. As you plan your menu and as you look at your serving platters and dishes, start deciding what you're going to put each of your dishes in. So not this week, but next week, it's time to get your menu finalized and start working on your grocery lists. And I recommend 2 grocery lists. Make a grocery list that you can buy your items the week before Thanksgiving, and then a grocery list of those last-minute fresh items that you need to buy early Thanksgiving week. You can use my grocery list builder sheet that I have in the holiday planning guide, or just write it down on a piece of paper. Or if you're wanting to use a grocery pickup service, go ahead and schedule your grocery pickup for 1 and 2 weeks out. Get your items started on your list, because most places that do grocery pickup will allow you to update your list up to 24 hours before your pickup time. So get your time reserved now if you're going to be using a grocery pickup service. If you are having a smaller gathering, especially if it is just your immediate family, I really encourage you to talk with your family members about the foods and traditions that are most important to them at Thanksgiving. If you grew up having white potatoes and sweet potatoes and Brussels sprouts and green bean casserole and stuffing and turkey and cranberry sauce and Aunt Margaret's Jell-O salad, odds are everybody in their family has their own favorite things. And it's important to ask them the dishes that are most important to them, because when you have that list, you can focus on making those dishes, and anything else that is not important, you can let go. So if your whole family doesn't care about the mashed potatoes, they just want the stuffing, then don't make mashed potatoes. Or if no one really likes the green bean casserole, don't make the green bean casserole just because it's been tradition at your family Thanksgivings. I want you to think about what is most important this year. I've talked about this before, but that's kind of one of the gifts the pandemic has given us, is it has given us a chance to pare back to the things that are most important. And at Thanksgiving, there is no exception to that. So talk with your family, find out what's most important to them, and anything that isn't important, don't feel like you have to make. As you move from the time of 1 to 2 weeks ahead of Thanksgiving and get into the week before Thanksgiving, that is when you want to do your first grocery shopping trip. You want to buy all of the groceries that you can that will last for 2 weeks in that first grocery shopping trip. And that way you only have to pick up a few fresh staples the week of Thanksgiving when the grocery stores are crazy. The other thing about that is if you have weird substitutions from your grocery pickup, you still have time to get the items that you need the week of Thanksgiving. If you are going to be serving alcohol like wine with dinner, now is the time to go to the liquor store and get those things purchased so you don't have to worry about it the week of Thanksgiving. And the week before Thanksgiving, you need to start thinking about thawing your turkey. Now, there are usually 2 ways turkeys are purchased in the store. One, the most common, is frozen. The other one is called, quote unquote, super chilled. Sometimes they're called fresh turkeys, but know that super chilled turkeys still need time in the refrigerator to thaw. They are almost frozen, and sometimes you may even have a few ice crystals inside because of the way that they are super chilled. So you want to make sure that you allow adequate time for your turkey to thaw. If you are having a 20 to 24 pound turkey, you want that in your refrigerator thawing the Friday before Thanksgiving. A 16 to 20 pound turkey, you want to start thawing on Saturday. A 12 to 16 pound turkey on Sunday. A 10 to 12 pound turkey or a really large turkey breast on Monday. And a 5 to 7 pound turkey breast needs to be in the refrigerator by Tuesday. That may be a day earlier than a lot of the other guides that you see, but I always recommend getting your turkey dressed and ready on Wednesday night. A thing about turkey that I also really want to talk about is most turkeys in the grocery store are actually injected with a salt solution and a brining solution. It will say on the outside broth solution or brine solution on the label of the turkey. Your typical butterball turkey has a salt solution added to it, so you do not want to brine those turkeys. If you are watching Food Network and a lot of other cooking shows, they're going to say, we're going to dry brine our turkey where you put salt underneath the skin, or they're going to say, we're going to brine our turkey in a cooler where it's sitting in a solution of cold water overnight that has salt in it. And that is only necessary if you get a turkey that does not have a broth solution added to it. So you want to check really carefully, because if you take a turkey that already has a broth solution added to it and you put it into a salty brine, you are going to end up with a turkey that is way too salty. Now, if you're ordering your turkey from a gourmet store or a natural grocery store, most likely that turkey will not have a salt solution added to it, and you will definitely want to brine it. I had a good friend who's a really good cook, and she had ordered this fancy-dancy turkey from a gourmet store, and when she cooked it, it was really, really dry and hard to eat, and that was because that turkey didn't have the salt solution added to it. I've also seen the other side where someone thought that browning's what they're supposed to do because that's what they saw on Food Network, and they brined a butterball turkey and it ended up ridiculously salty. So make sure you know what kind of turkey you're getting. If you bought a natural turkey that does not have salt solution, you want to be brining it Tuesday to Wednesday so that it has time for the salt to soak in. And then you also have time to get the turkey ready and in the roasting pan. I highly recommend getting your turkey ready and in the roasting pan on Wednesday so that you can just put it into the oven on Thursday. Getting a turkey cleaned and ready can be a messy process, and you don't want the mess of that when you are trying to cook other foods at the same time. So if your turkey can be all ready to put in the oven Wednesday, then all you have to do is slip it into the oven on Thursday. You will be so grateful. So that's one of my big tips and a little bit of a education about the different kinds of turkey. We've worked our way from 3 weeks before Thanksgiving, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, the week before Thanksgiving, and now we're at Monday or Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. This is when you want to do your final grocery trip, getting those last minute items that you need, the last minute fresh items. You want to start pre-cooking any dishes that you can pre-cook or even parts of dishes so that you can be ready on Thursday. My best example of that is I make a sweet potato casserole. I use Cook's Illustrated sweet potato casserole recipe from eons ago. I make it every year, and in the recipe, it says that you can roast your sweet potatoes ahead of time. And so Monday or Tuesday of Thanksgiving week, I'm always roasting a giant pan of sweet potatoes so that I can have them for the sweet potato casserole. In addition to that, I usually almost always serve cheeseburger baked potatoes Monday or Tuesday of Thanksgiving week, because remember, Thanksgiving week is a whole week and Thanksgiving dinner is one meal out of that entire week. And you're still having to feed your family. So it kind of gets that cook once, eat twice philosophy that I highly recommend by roasting sweet potatoes. And I'll usually throw a couple of russets for my family members that prefer white potatoes. And we'll have cheeseburger baked potatoes early in the week of Thanksgiving week. And I'll roast all those extra potatoes for my sweet potato casserole. If you have a dedicated dining room, set the table for Thanksgiving on Monday or Tuesday. That's going to save you so much time. Now, if you only have one dining space and you're going to be eating in there, you'll want to set the table Wednesday night and then just eat off of paper plates or someplace else on Thursday morning for breakfast. But if you have a dedicated dining room, get that table set on Monday or Tuesday. On Wednesday, you want to get your desserts made and get any of your casseroles assembled so that all you have to do is bake them the next day. Get your turkey cleaned and prepared and get it in the roasting pan and refrigerate it. But a little food safety thing is if you are stuffing your turkey, which I really don't recommend, but if that's a family tradition for you, go ahead and stuff the turkey. But don't stuff it until right before putting in the oven. You don't want that stuffing sitting inside that cavity in the refrigerator for 24 hours. So get the turkey prepared, but don't put the stuffing in if you're going to stuff the turkey. You can leave the skin open to the air if you have enough room in your refrigerator. And what's great about that is that you can end up with a much crispier skinned turkey, which everybody knows that the crispy turkey skin is one of the best parts of a turkey. The other thing you want to be doing on Wednesday night is finalizing your tasks for the next day. I highly recommend writing out specific times for the things that you are going to be cooking. If you are going to be baking pies, which I recommend doing on Wednesday, but sometimes you're going to be doing them on Thursday, you're going to write, I need to put the pie in the oven at 10 in the morning so that it's done by 11. You want to calculate how many hours your turkey needs to cook and give it a good 30 minutes to rest before carving. So if it takes 4 hours to cook the turkey and 30 minutes for it to rest, if you're going to eat at 6 p.m., you need to put the turkey in the oven at 1:30 p.m. I want you to write that on a list for that day so that you don't run out of oven time. I want you to plan every dish that's going into that oven and what time it's going into the oven at what temperature so you don't get caught up. I talk about this in the Thanksgiving 101 because it's a total rookie mistake to forget that you've got one thing that needs to be in the oven at 250 degrees and another thing that needs to be in the oven at 425 degrees. And what do you do then? You want to plan your dishes and make sure that the oven temperatures are the same so that you can have everything coming in and out of the oven at appropriate times. When you get to Thanksgiving Day, follow that guide that you made the day before. Follow the times for the things that need to go into the oven. Make sure that you make a list of any last-minute tasks that need to be done. And if you have guests coming and they like to help, get a list of things that you can have guests to do, because there's nothing more frustrating than to be working in your kitchen and you have your list of things and someone comes in and says, "How can I help?" And you're like, "I'm in my zone and I don't know how you can help. I'm sure I need help, but I don't have a task for you." Plan some tasks for your guests that are coming to help you with. And while we're talking about guests, I have said this before and it sounds kind of silly, but if they are going to be bringing items, make sure that you match the kind of items that you ask them to bring to their personality. So if you have someone who does not cook and they would much rather just buy whatever, have that person be the person who brings the rolls from the bakery, or have them bring the wine from the liquor store. If you have someone who is a master pie baker and you don't really like making pies that much yourself, ask them to bring a pie. The other thing is, if you have a family member or guest that you know is perpetually late, it is usually not a good idea to ask that person to bring the drinks, because you want people to be able to have their drinks as soon as the gathering starts. So those are just a few hostess tips that I have that might help you with Thanksgiving. We are going to be talking about Thanksgiving in the Feed Your Family Tonight Facebook group. Again, the holiday planning guide is there to help you. I have start to finish a Thanksgiving countdown. I have a whole bonus Thanksgiving 101 if this is your first time cooking Thanksgiving. That holiday guide is at feedyourfamilytonight.com/holiday. And do not hesitate to reach out and message me or ask me in the Facebook group questions, because I want to help you. I want to help you be successful for Thanksgiving, especially if it's your first time. But even if you're a seasoned veteran, this year's going to be different for most of us. And I want you to be able to enjoy your time with your family and enjoy connection. So for now, friends, take care. Picture yourself sitting in your decorated home in the midst of the holiday season. All of your gifts are purchased and wrapped, dinner's in the oven, and you're enjoying a moment of rest or are spending quality time with your family. No overwhelm, just calm. The Feed Your Family Tonight Holiday Planning Guide is here to help you manage the hundreds of little tasks that come with the holiday season. From shipping to roasting a turkey, we have got you covered. You'll plan your gifts, your meals, your decorating, and so much more. And new this year, we've added the Countdown to Christmas worksheets. Whether you're starting in October or starting in December, these worksheets will help you get out of the overwhelm and focus on the things that are most important to you this holiday season. For more information, visit feedyourfamilytonight.com/holiday and get your own copy of the Holiday Planning Guide.
Thanks for listening to Feed Your Family Tonight podcast with your host, Mariefiebach. If you like the show and want to know more, please visit feedyourfamilytonight.com. And if you'd like to help support the show, please leave a rating or review on iTunes or Apple Podcast. It helps spread the word that you can feed your family tonight.